Okay, let's see here. Okay, all set up here. Greetings to everyone. Today we're going to have a live demo for enameling with Millefiori. Um, I have a lot of information to share with you guys, so hopefully I'll remember to do it all. If you have questions or comments, go ahead and post them. Let me know you're here also if you'd like a shout out, and let me know if there's any problems with the broadcast. So far, it looks like it's going to be okay, but you never know with these things. So, hi Roxanne, hi Mary, hi Judy. Okay, great. People are coming in, and we'll get started. A lot of times, I don't know where to begin because there's so much to cover and so much I want to show you. Uh, some of you probably already enamel, and some of you don't, uh, and it's all good. There's just so much that you can do with enamel, so many different techniques, that it requires a certain amount of stuff, as all of our hobbies do. So if you've been doing this, you may have some of these things already. If not, I will try to guide you on what you need to purchase if it's something that you want to try for yourself. Hi, Diane. Happy Tuesday to you as well. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. I did have my friend Patty here a couple of weeks ago, and she did the bulk of the demo, which was great because I just wasn't in a place that I wanted to do it yet myself. So, but I am glad to be back, and hopefully we can continue this journey of craziness. So, hey, Sandy. Okay, so first of all, you need some copper discs. Whether you make those yourself, cut them out yourself, or buy them already uh, pre-cut, makes no difference. Just a matter of what you want to do. Um, so there's lots of copper discs. You don't need to have um, like a super heavy gauge. A lot of times 22 gauge is what I will use. You can use 24 as well. Depends what you're making. Um, because when you add layers of enamel, you're also adding more weight. Okay, so if you started off with an 18 page, or I'm sorry, 18 gauge piece of copper, by the time you have your layers on, it's going to be heavier. It doesn't matter for a pendant or maybe a bracelet, but for your earrings, it might make a difference in the weight if you don't like to have a lot of weight on your ears. So there's that. So I have cut a few shapes. I have the tools and stuff that I can do those things. We'll start with the copper shapes. I'm going to combine two different methods of torch firing. I learned with the immersion method with painting with fire. Barbara Lewis kind of pioneered that method, and I just love it. It's like instant gratification. It's easy to do, and when you get started in one method, it's hard to break away to do different ones. But I'm going to be also firing on a tripod and trivet method. And I will also talk about the kiln method as well. I don't think I'm going to do the kiln method because it gets awfully darn hot in here. And I also have several propane torches close by, so I kind of don't want to blow up my house today. So there may be days that I want to, but today's not the day. Hi, Marina. Hi, Suzanne. Thank you. Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, so we've got copper discs that we need. We need to punch holes in them. I have a 3-hole punch from Eurotool that I like. And I used the 3/32 hole on this. It's a little bit larger. It's not that big, but it makes a difference when you're enameling because sometimes the enamel gets into the hole. So the smaller hole that you punch, you could have a hard time getting a jump ring in it. So I like to make a little bit extra clearance by using the 3/32 hole punch on that. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is prepare the discs. Then I'm going to use the immersion method to get my first 2 coats of enamel on the discs. And I'll walk you through all of that as well. So what I do when I'm doing a lot of discs, I'm going to turn the camera down a bit. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Suzanne. We have 2 Suzannes watching. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I see I'm not, oh no, I'm okay. This is my swivel vise. It's a tabletop vise. This one actually was from Eurotool, but I see that they make a lot of different brands. I was looking on Amazon earlier, and they have very comparable ones, it seems like. So when I do a lot of hole punching, I like to set this up on the table and put my hole punch inside, just kind of screw it in here. I may need to adjust the camera a little bit. Let's see here. Okay. So this hole punch, if you're not familiar, it has 3 different size holes, and the 3/32 is the one that I'm going to use today. There is one a little bit larger, but I don't really need to use that one. And it comes with a little Allen wrench that you maneuver, turn the screw with. And I take a Sharpie. I'll draw out where I want the holes. And what I did, or what I've done, is I make a couple of these. I punch the holes in them, and I've set them aside as my template. Got a little baggie here. My little baggie here with my little templates, so I don't have to do this each time. I've got one with the 7/8 disc. Got the holes punched for that. One for a 3/4 inch disc. And then I can just lay these on top of the blank disc and draw where I need the holes. You can see like that. So it saves me some time if I'm doing a lot of work. Okay, yeah, you can see that on there. So then I would just put the disc in place, line it up where the little marking is. And actually, I need to lower this. There we go. Okay, so I can just slide that in, line it up with the little marks that I drew, and then take my Allen wrench and then twist this around and pop through the hole. As soon as you can feel it kind of break through, and as soon as you do feel that, you can just reverse and take the disc out and then turn it over and do the other one, the other side. This one I'm doing the 2 holes for a bracelet. I guess I didn't show you the samples. I'll do this one and then I'm going to show you the samples. I always get ahead of myself. It never fails. Okay. Happy birthday, Debbie. I hope you have a very happy day. Okay, so now I've got both holes punched for this bracelet disc right here. All right. So let me stop and show you some of these that I've done. Let's see if we can get them in here. Okay. I've been busy, as you can see. Okay, so these are the pendants that I've made recently that I posted in the group. This is a 2-inch round disc, copper disc. It's fired, it's got copper on both sides. I like to clean up the edges after I'm all done firing. When the piece is complete, I'll go with my wet sander and just file this edge so it looks nice and clean. A lot of times there's like a little dark, kind of burned, kind of crispy looking, and I like to take that off. I think this finishes it a lot nicer. So this is a 2-inch disc. Both of those are. This is a 1¼ inch disc. Might be 1½. I can't remember. But these particular ones have the Millefiori melted in, which I love. I just absolutely love these. So, okay. So that's that. So these only need the one hole, the one hanging hole, since they're going to be a pendant. And you can make them all kinds of different shapes, you know, whatever copper shapes you want to use. And then I've got bracelet links. So you can make bracelets with them. This is all the 3/4 inch disc size. And this is the, I think it was the 1/2 inch size. Where did I put my, oh no, this is 5/8. Close enough. This is the 5/8 size of discs. Or you could put, also you could put a larger disc. This one's got the 5/8 on the side and then a little larger one here. These aren't finished, of course, but you can put the larger disc in the middle if you wanted to do that. These are all just style choices, design choices, whatever you like to do. But there's lots of possibilities in there. You can make earrings. I've put copper jump rings on most of my pieces, but you could also put silver on there if you wanted. I mean, that's just totally up to you. So, okay, these just aren't finished. I didn't make any clasps. I need to make a few more links in there. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Gina. Yes, Gina, they are all domed. It's a slight dome. I don't like to dome them too much. Well, actually, these two pieces are not domed. These are just flat. These were the first ones that I was playing with. And these are just flat. But I like to dome them slightly. I don't want to do too much because as you're torching the enamel and the Murrini can slide off of that curve. So I try not to make it too pronounced. And it's just enough. It's really enough. It gives it a little bit of the dimension without being flat, and it holds the Murrini on there real nice. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, the Murrini really add a lot. I can't say that it's a super simple method, but if you play with it, it's worth it. It will work out. Barbara, you asked me about the hole punch. This is a hole punch that I got through Eurotool. It's, oh, now where did I put it? Oh, it's in my vise. Yeah, Eurotool puts out a 3 and a 4 hole punch, and the 4 hole punch is measured for wire sizes, like the gauges of round wire. You can still punch holes with them, but I mean, it's great if you're making your own rivets and you have certain wire that you want uh, to punch the holes for. You can do that. But I use the the, the 3-hole punch probably more than anything because it's got the sizes on there. And this one is the 1/8 and 1/16 and the 3/32 on here. So it's really nice. And these things are replaceable if you should ever break one of these punches. It's pretty hard to do, but they are replaceable. These are not cheap. They're probably 50 or 60 bucks for them, but they're well worth it. So a lot of the standard hole punches that you see are there's a punch on either end. There's just the two, and that's generally 1/16 and 3/32 on those. Um, so if you have one of those, that's fine too. The only thing with those is you're limited with the size of a disc that you can punch a hole in. If you're just punching small things like this, it's no problem with the 2-hole punch. But if you want to get a hole, like say in the middle of this, you could never put this in one of those little 2-hole punches. So this is nice because you can put this in anywhere you want on whatever size disc. Um, if you have a 2 or a 3-inch round piece of copper or whatever shape, you can still get into, you can get as far as the width of this thing. So these are a nice tool to have. Yeah, and they do have a little magnet right on one of the corners where you can attach your little hex wrench so you don't lose it. So it was pretty well thought out. Eugenia Chan designed this for Eurotool, and it's been a real hit. Hi, Carla. Yeah, it is definitely a must-have. Suzanne's asking where I get my Murrini. Well, I've gotten them from several different places, and I will have all that information on the post that I'm going to put on right after this demo is done with all the resources. But I found a couple of lamp workers that make Murrini. Their name is Lori and Kim, and they have an Etsy shop. Right now, their Etsy shop is very low. They've only got a couple of choices on there, and they're going to be putting some new ones up there hopefully soon. But I've been buying from them for years, and they're quirky and they're different, and I really like them a lot. The other place that I get them is Millefiori.com, which I'll have that in the notes as well. They have the more traditional looking Millefiori, and you can get a variety of sizes from them as well, sizes and colors. I also will tell you, well, when we get to the Murrini part, I'll explain a few things then about them, what to look for when you're buying them. Hi, Patty. Yeah, the ones from Lori and Kim, I believe, are 104. But you can use the 96 COE. I have. I would say I wouldn't load your piece up maybe with that, but 104 is the better choice. And MuranoMillefiori.com has all 104. So that's good. It's a compatibility thing for those of you who don't know about glass. There, the COE is like, it's called the coefficient of expansion. Glass kind of moves in and out when it's getting heated and cooled. And to my knowledge, there's just a few COEs of glass. There's 90, 96, 104. There's 33 for borosilicate glass, which I don't use at all. There may be more, but I'm not aware of them. But if you mix the glasses, the different COEs, when you fire them, they can crack. They're not compatible. If they're not compatible, if they're not the same, they can crack. If you just use one or two here and there, maybe you'll be okay, but you're taking a chance. So it's best if you stick with the same COE for your glass projects. This is a very well-known thing for glass fusers. Um, you know, to have success, you got to have all the same stuff. Now in the Frit, a lot of the Frit that I have is 96, and I am putting it on the enamel, and it seems to be okay, but I'm using very little comparatively. So it doesn't seem to affect that at all. So hi, Sandy. Yes, it does. 104 melts easier. It's quicker. So, um, I haven't had any problem. I've been doing this for several years, and I haven't had any problem with that at all. I did do a fusing project where I had bought some Millefiori years ago, and I'm not really sure what I even bought them for. Maybe I was doing a mosaic or whatever, and I didn't know anything about COE. But one day a few years back, a friend was over and we were doing some glass fusing. She was a glass fuser. And I said, oh, well, I've got some, Millefiori we can use. But I didn't know what they were. And so I made a little dish and I did get some cracks by certain Millefiori. And I'm thinking because they were probably incompatible, which is a shame because it's a considerable amount of work that just kind of got ruined. So always be aware of COE when you buy something, some glass. Just keep that in mind. I was looking on Amazon to see if they carried any Millefiori, and they do, but they don't list what COE they are. So that's a hard no for me. I want to know what I'm buying. So just to save you some aggravation and some unnecessary expense, just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So I made a hole, two holes in here, and I want to just give it a slight form. So I'm going to turn the camera down here, and I'm just going to use my wooden block, and I'm going to put it in the smallest hole, which isn't very small on here, but that's okay because the deeper they are, the more curve, and I don't want that much curve. So I'm just going to give it a slight curve. You can do this. You can, if you punch your holes or your copper too hard, you can distort the holes. So you could do it either way. You could either curve your metal first, and then punch the holes, which is okay. And a tip for that is when you draw your holes, draw them on the reverse side that you're not going to punch. So that way, when you've curved your piece, your holes show on the back side of the disc, and then you can align your hole punch in there slightly at an angle. It's not that difficult to do, but like I said, you can distort the holes if you do them before you dap. If I was dapping a really deep curve on this piece, I would have made sure that I punched the holes after the fact. I hope you understand that. Oh, I'm using the wrong end. Duh. Okay. So this just gives a very slight curve. You know what, Diane? That's true. It kind of does look like Millefiori a little bit, my shirt. I like it. Hi, Gail. Okay, let's see. Carla's got a good tip on here. says somewhere I got the info that a 4-to-1 ratio of 104/96 helps with compatibility and decreases possible cracking. Good, that's good to know. Okay, all right, so I've got my piece curved and that's ready to roll. With torch firing, with the immersion method, you do not have to clean your copper first, okay? That's something that you have to do in the traditional method of firing, okay? But we don't have to do that. The fire is going to burn whatever impurities or dirt or Sharpie marker, whatever on your copper is going to burn that off. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so then once I've prepared all my discs, let's see here. I've got 1, 2 curved. I'm going to give this kind of a teardrop shape. I'll give that a little bit of a dap. I've already got my hole punched in this one. I'll give this one just a little bit of a curve. Just don't want too much. That might even be too much. Okay. All right. Just gave that a slight bit of a curve. And I'm only doing these to show you the firing, the torch firing method. We do this one too. Oh, that's the template. I don't want to get rid of that. Save my little templates to save me a few minutes worth of work wherever I put them. You know, stuff can't really go that far from where I'm sitting, but it seems to disappear regardless. Well, I don't know. Oh, here it is on my bench. Okay, I want to put these away, so I have them. Those are my little templates. All right. I think I'll punch a hole in this one. This thing is great if you're doing a lot of work. This is one that I've got no, I take that back. I'll just work with what I've got here because I'm not going to dwell on each thing too long because there's just too much. Okay. All right. So we're going to proceed. I'm going to take this down out of my way. We're going to proceed onto the immersion method of torch firing. And I've done this before on other demos, but you may not have seen them. Let's see here. And all of my demos are available on YouTube to view at any time. And I'll put the link in the post after this demo. Okay. I hope not to lose you guys. Okay, first off, I'm going to start with the propane cylinder. All right. And if you're not familiar, I will familiarize you with it. This is just a propane cylinder that I got at Menards or any home improvement store should have them. If you buy one of these, or if you use these, you're going to need one of these angle, I don't know what they're called, angle irons or something. It's like an L-shaped bracket. And then this hose clamp, this little thing, and they're adjustable with a screwdriver. Okay, so you need that, and you also need a C-clamp to attach this to your table. So I'm going to put that on a heat-proof surface and clamp this tightly to my table so it does not fall off. And with this angle iron, once you've got it on the table, you kind of want your torch head to be at an angle. You don't want it going straight up into the air. So you kind of just lift up the tank a little bit, and that bends that angle bracket there. And then this is a hothead torch head. Okay. You can buy them name brand as a hothead, or you can buy a knockoff one at Menards or Home Depot in the plumbing area. Maybe it's not plumbing area, but they're right where the gas cans are, so or gas cylinders are. And you want to make sure that you've got the head screwed on, the torch head screwed on, that when it's done, when it's totally screwed on, that it's going to face the table. And if it doesn't, then you need to take this off and turn your hose clamp around. Okay, so that all has to line up, and you want to make sure that that's nice and tight on there so no gas comes out. When you're done using this and this is cold, then you disconnect them. You don't want to leave this torch head on your cylinder because gas will eventually leak out. So that's always a good tip, is to always remove this when you're done. All right, make sure that you don't have anything flammable around this area because this is going to produce a very large flame. And I think I might need to move my camera just a little bit. I always keep utility pliers around with me in case I drop anything hot. I can pick it up quickly. They're just good to have around. Take anything flammable way far away from your working area. I'm also, for this immersion method, I'm using, I believe these are 1/16 steel mandrels. Just a little thin steel mandrel. I got most of mine from a welding supply. They come very long. They're in a tube, like a plastic tube, and you cut them. So you can cut them, I think, maybe into thirds, something like a 9-inch or 12-inch at the most length. You don't really need them super long. But you can use these for quite a long time. They do get kind of bendy over time, so it's good to have some spares. And a cup of water to keep your mandrels in so you can quench them as soon as you take your piece off of the, take your copper piece off of the mandrel. All right, then also for the immersion method, your enamel will be in containers. This is not the kind that you can sprinkle on with a sifter. This is where you immerse your piece and kind of dredge it into the cup. That's why you need like a cup or canister, something like that. Metal is good. Glass is okay, but they both do get hot if you use a lot of, do one piece after another. So keep that in mind, that they do get hot. Okay, so what else? All right, so before you get started, I didn't get a match to light my torch with. Need to do that. Okay, before I get started, you just make sure that you're all set up for safety. You've got your water there, you've got your pliers in case you drop something. Got my enamel. Your color scheme, that's the next thing you would want to have set out in advance, is what colors are you going to use. Okay, so initially I'm just going to put the 2 coats of white on each of these pieces, okay? And then I will do the building of the piece after that, after these are cooled. All right. I find that doing the 2 coats of white covering over the copper just looks better. It makes the color truer, in my opinion. So there's that. Let me go grab some matches because I totally forgot about that. Okay. Luckily, I knew where they were. They just weren't close. All right. Now I have to do something about this camera because I do not want to burn my phone. This, when I light it, it's going to be loud. It's very loud on my end, and some of the videos I've done, it's like loud initially and then it like quiets down. I'm not really sure how that happens, but just be prepared. I'm just doing an opaque white for the base coat. All right, so I'm gonna light. Got my piece here. Now, what I'm also doing is very dicey, and I don't want to encourage you to do this if you're nervous with fire. If you're not, just be very careful. That's all I can say is just be careful, and you can judge if it's something for you or not. All right. The other thing is when you light the hothead torch, you light your match and you put it right under the lip of the torch. If you put your fire or your flame up too high, the match up too high, the gas just blows it out. So you want to make sure that you get that fire right at the bottom lip of the torch head. Let me move this camera again. I want you to be able to see the whole thing, and I might need to move. I think that that's good. I don't know. Let me move it around a little bit. This is the trouble when you don't have anybody to help you with demos that require a little bit more. All right. Let's see. Still not great. Sorry, I think I lost you there for a minute. I did. Okay, sorry. Sometimes you just can't predict how things are going to work out. Scooching this down just a bit. Okay. We'll give it a shot now. Okay, got my enamel, got my water, got my match. I'm going to turn on the gas a little bit. You can hear it hiss. So I've got the back side of the copper facing me. I've got my enamel in my hand, red hot, dunk into the enamel, tap off the excess, and then put it back in the flame until it turns orange again, and then back again for another coat. And this is where it's dicey to get it off of the mandrel. I'm just twirling this slowly off of the enamel that's stuck to the mandrel. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to grab the mandrel and just tip it down so that, oh, I should have burned off my enamel first. I'll do it on the next one. But I just tipped it off with the help of the pliers, just to kind of dump it off here. And it's very hot. But just like that, I have two coats of the white enamel undercoat on here. It's pretty quick and easy. So there's 2 layers of enamel on the reverse side as well. And that's enough for it. I don't have to build up more layers on the back. All right, we'll do that again. I'll do the bigger piece. This is going to take a little bit longer. It goes by pretty fast. That's one of the reasons I like this method. I also need to tell you that I have an exhaust fan going on, a very heavy duty exhaust fan going out of the house. And I also have a box fan circulating the air in the room, okay, just for safety's sake. And I always point that box fan up to my smoke alarm because it can get hot in here and it can set off the fire alarm. So I want to avoid doing that. All right, so I'm going to light my match. Hate these things. Okay, light my match, turn on my gas. Okay, what I just did at the end was I burned off the enamel that was stuck onto the mandrels. You need to do that between each piece that you do because the enamel builds up and then it's hard to remove uh, the piece from the mandrel, or it also gets stuck in the hole that you cut. It sounded kind of wonky. Yeah, it's weird. It really is weird. Now, if you want your hot piece to cool off faster, you can take like a steel bench block and you can place your piece on top of here and it'll cool very quickly. Okay. So I did a few extras, beforehand. So I've got extra pieces to work on. But that's basically showing you the immersion method. It's very quick. You don't have to clean the metal. It's just, to me, a lot easier. Makes sense to me. So once you're done with all your pieces and the torch head is cool, remember to remove it. It's very hot right now, so don't try not to bump against it or anything like that, or reach over to grab something and then inadvertently hit yourself and burn yourself. So you don't want to do that. Um, yes, I do have a bead pulling station, and that's okay too. If you're nervous, maybe I should just do one like that. Use the bead pulling station. I just, you know, I, sometimes I just do things quickly and not think about it too much. Let's see here. All right, we'll do one using the bead pulling station. Um, can you see it? The bead pulling station. This is the bead pulling station. It's another painting with fire invention. And you hook it. It has a lip underneath here that you can hook it against a ceramic tile, or, for instance, this heat-proof mat that I have. Let's see here. They're wonderful for beads, for removing beads. That's what I use it mostly for. Okay, hopefully. Nope, I went the wrong way. I'll go this way. There's a little time delay between what I'm doing and what you're seeing. All right, that's the bead pulling station uh, in the view. It has these little notches on the top where you can pull your bead or your disc, whatever, when it's on there. You can pull it against it, and then the bead falls off behind the unit there. All right, so let's do that. The thing with this is the enamel sometimes fills in those holes, and when you push this in and out to get the disc off, you get these enamel threads. Sometimes you can burn those off, but the way that I've been doing it just kind of eliminates that. So, that's why I do it the way I do it. But just for the sake of showing you, that way you know. I don't know if these are being sold anymore or not. I have a few extras that I bought when I was teaching classes. So if you can't find one and you want one, just contact me and I'll see what I have. Okay, because I know at least I have a couple. So. All right, here we go. Tighten that so far. Oh, That was dumb. Here we go again. Oh, I did it again. I know you can't see what I'm doing right now. Okay. I know you couldn't see what I was doing when I was doing it, but I just pushed it off of the bead pulling station, and it stuck to the bead pulling station because it's got some enamel threads hanging from it. Grab that. You see where it's at right here? It just kind of attached itself to that. That's a safer way to do it than what I normally do, but you know, that's just me. And I always tell you that, you know, to just do what you're comfortable doing. But I'll show you if you can see it here. There's the two holes. Okay, and the one that had the mandrel has a little bit of enamel in it. The other one is completely clean. And then there are a few little crusty enamel threads on the reverse side that I can knock off. But, you know, you can eliminate that by the first way that I showed you. But you do you. You do what's comfortable for you. Okay. All right. So that part I've shown you. Now, the next part, we'll build. We'll build something. And I have these little trivets. Let's see here. All right. One thing I want to show you also is these trivets. There are different types of trivets, and I've got the traditional ones. These are made by a different company. This is Pearly Carpo in Israel. She has an enamel line also. Um, and but if you want to buy American or buy locally, uh, Enamel Warehouse has them. They're similar, but they're not quite the same. But with any of the tripods, this is a tip that I was shown that I don't know if it really works that well or not. But if you put a little bit of chalk, just regular board chalk, like school board chalk, chalkboard chalk, put those on the edges, it's supposed to help not stick to the trivet. So I'm doing it in hopes that it helps. But this enamel, when it burns onto the trivets, it's on there stuck hard. And you can grind it off if you want to do that. But you could also give this a shot. It doesn't really hurt anything. And put some on there. So then I'm going to build my piece. And I'm not going to build it on the trivet. I'm going to build it on just some surface. Oh, before we get to building, hi, Wendy. It doesn't matter if you're late, you're here. That's all that matters. Okay, when you buy Millefiori, they're usually um, they're fine for many projects, the size that they are for what they were intended, but they're a little bit big for melting onto the enamel. Um, it will melt on, but they're very tall or thick. So if you cut them down, slice them down a little bit, they will melt better without annihilating the enamel on your piece. Because the longer you hold your torch under the under the piece, you have the potential to burn off your enamel. Okay, so we want to try to prevent that. So what I recommend is a mosaic nipper and a plastic bag. Try to, I'm going to get this out of my way, the torch. Way so I don't knock into it. All right. All right, so I have this plastic bag and I have my Murrini and the tile nippers. And I'm going to put the Murrini in between the wheels of the nipper. Try to line it up as best I can in the center midline. And I'm going to drop it, which I didn't mean to do. And line that back up. And I'm using the plastic bag because these suckers like to kind of missile out, take a dive. So I'm just going to crack that. Well, I didn't break it in half. Sometimes you just shear off a little piece, and that's not really what you want. It does make it thinner, but it's uneven. So some pieces cut better than others. This one is a loser. This one I'm just shearing little semi slices off, but actually those are useful. Well, that's not a good example. Take another one here. And because I'm showing you, I'm being nimble fingered here. Okay. Where'd it go? The theory is it's supposed to stay in the bag, and it did. It's just this little piece became two now. Okay, so that's cut in half. This half is a little bit shorter, so I'll use that one. But you could use either one, really. The idea is just to make them smaller so that they melt quicker. Okay, so that one piece now became two. Same with this. This piece now became two. So actually you get twice the twice the Murrini doing it this way. Not really, but yeah, sort of. It's just a matter of lining this up. And keeping that. I don't know where the other piece went. In theory, they're supposed to stay in the bag, but sometimes they fly out anyway. Oh, this one only got a little bit nipped off. So that might be.
That's going to be one of those problematic ones too. Oh, and I dropped it on the floor. Okay. Here's another one. Okay, that one worked. Okay. So I got 2 pieces on that one as well. So hopefully you get the idea with that, where I'm going with that, okay? Some of, I think I said already, the Murano Millefiori website has them already sized, but they go in like tall, you know, they're like 2 to 3 millimeters, they're 4 to 5 millimeters. They're not short. They're, I guess the millimeters are counted in height. So here's another one. Still uneven, but it still works. All right, so once I have enough of those, then I start to build my project. But these little tiny pieces, these little shards that kind of cracked off unevenly, little pieces like this, are still very usable. I will still incorporate those in the design because they have the different colors in them and they still work. So I would not worry too much about having little pieces like that. I'll use those in the design I'm going to do. Okay. So come down here a little bit. Now the Frit comes in little jars. I mentioned glass diversions in the post that I'm going to give you with the references. This is all COE 96, but I don't use that much of it, and it works out just fine. But there's all kinds of different color combinations. Little Frit like that. They really make stuff pop. Hi, Sue. The white that I used is 1055. That's the number 1055. Thanks, Sandy. I'll have to check those out too. Okay, so I have a bunch of Murrini little pieces that I've already got cut up that I'm going to use. And also, I want to tell you that I've used these before on different demos. These Vitrico, I know it's backwards, the Vitrico floral enamel wafers, these are great. These are different than the Murrini. They're much smaller. They melt in very quickly. The other thing about them is they're pretty expensive for what you get, but they're very nice and they look really good on your project. So we'll try a piece with these solely on here too. Enamel Warehouse carries these, and they also carry these Millefiori buttons, they call them. These are a little bigger. Well, they're quite a bit bigger than the floral wafers, but they do work as well. You can melt those in. These might be better suited if you were enameling in the kiln, where you can control your temperature a little bit better. They might melt a little better in there, but they are definitely usable. All right, so I'm using clear fire as my adhesive, so to say, to keep everything on the piece. You can also use hairspray, although I never have, but I've heard that you can use hairspray as your glue to keep things attached. Now this is one of the white piece that I did. So let's build this. I'm gonna spray some clear fire on here. Okay, and then I'm going to choose, where's my glasses? I'm going to choose my Murrini. I mean, it's not rocket science. Just put them where you want to put them. The only thing I'd say is if you're looking for a specific color, you could do that. You could take a little more time to pick out a color. I'm not going to get real fussy with this one though, since this is just basically to show you for demonstration purposes. You see, I'm taking those little slivers that didn't cut off quite right, break off right, but they're still usable. Actually, it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be firing this one. I've already got one that's dry and ready to go, but I just wanted to show you how I build them. But you get nice different texture, different sizes that you put on here, but they all need to be on the small side to begin with. All right, so say that's as many Murrini as I'm going to put on. These in here. And then I'm going to take some Frit. I'm going to give this an extra spritz so the Frit sticks on here. This is just going to be a combination of colors. Try to keep the Frit off of the Murrini if you can. Which is sometimes hard to do without disturbing what you've already placed, but you could let the piece dry a little bit and then apply the Murrini with a, where is that? I have a little, oh, here it is. This little applicator, it's a little fuzzy applicator thing that I can dip into the clear fire and then just apply some clear fire around the edges that kind of dried out and then put my Frit there. Because if you don't wet it before you put the stuff on, it just falls off. The minute that you jostle it a little bit, the Murrini or the Frit just falls off. So it's better if you can get them to stick on with clear fire. This is just big fun to me, just kind of placing all this stuff around. And work on a paper towel or something so you can pick up all the little bits that fall off as you're putting it on here so you don't waste it. And that's really all there is to it as far as building your piece. The important thing is that your Murrini are not too big, like I said before, so that they have sufficient ability to melt in without burning your enamel. Now, if I wanted to make this a different color, you know, over the white, I certainly could. I would just fire on another layer of something. If it's a translucent, I probably would put 2 more layers of translucent over the white. But if I'm using an opaque, I probably one color or one coat would probably be enough. The Murrini and the Frit cover most of the area, so um, you know, keep that in mind. You will see some of your color that you put on there, but this primarily covers everything. So I'm just going to set this to dry, let it dry, and then I'll take one of the ones that I've done and we'll fire that with the tripod and the trivet. Okay. So hopefully you get the gist of that. Thank you for answering that, Sandy. Yeah, this is just crushed glass. You could take glass rods if you do lamp working, if you have extra bits of glass, small portions that you didn't use and they're hard to work with. You can make your own Frit combinations. Just make sure you're in the same COE. And that's very doable. Okay, so I'm going to get ready for torch. Oh my God, I hit it again. Okay. Okay, so we'll get the tripod ready. All right. Here's my tripod. And I already have a piece ready to go. And I dropped it. And I lost a little bit of Frit, but not much, because it was done last night and it's nice and dry. So I can either try to put those little pieces back on, which I could. Actually, it was just a couple of pieces. That just ricocheted off. Okay, I'll just leave it the way it is. So I put my piece on here. Now, if you use the other tripod or the other trivets that are just like a 3 or 4 and they don't have a base that fits onto the top of this, you would use this wire mesh thing right here, but I don't need that because of the shape of this. The other trivets are just like the little point things that are stuck together. I should have pulled one of those out and I did not. I forgot. So I don't want to use both because that makes it a bigger heat sink. It just takes away the heat from doing the enamel job here, heating it up like it should. Okay. And I'm going to use this torch. This is a sterno torch head. Set up again differently. This is a canned butane. This is Sterno brand, but there's all kinds of other brands out there. And then this is a Sterno torch head.
These are removable. This part is removable, and these are disposable. So you can buy extra cans. They last quite a while, unless you're doing tons of enameling. But you have to be careful with these. Some of them work really well, and some of them are kind of dicey. I've got a bunch of different brands, and so far the Sterno has been the best as far as not becoming a flamethrower. If you have one of these and you know, and that's happened to so you know what I'm talking about. For whatever reason, when you turn it on, this huge flame shoots out. You just have to get it turned back off, and it like regulates itself somehow. But I don't like that feature of it. So I kind of love these and I kind of hate them. So you have to use whatever's comfortable for you. Um, you could potentially use that cylinder with the torch head. You'd have to hold it underneath, but the flame is so strong, I'm afraid that it would blow your copper piece right off the trivet. I haven't tried it because I've got other options. There's also another torch head that you can screw onto uh, the bottled gas, which comes this way. It's a hose that has a cap that attaches on here, and that's very powerful as well. So this, when I use this, I've got a stand that I put this in to keep it flat on the floor so it doesn't tip over. So that is an option too. The can, if it works well, if it works right, works very well. So let me get all these other potential fire hazards away from me. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is heat from underneath. It's got the counter enamel on it because we did the immersion method. I didn't have to do that separately. And we'll heat it. It's going to take a little while because the Murrini are a little thick. Oh, in the meantime, before I do this, I think what I'll do is put a few of the Vitrico floral wafers on another disc. It's out of the way, and I'll just work up here. So I think what I'll do on this is just put a little bit of the clear fire on here, or I could dip the just dip the pieces. All right. So that's what I'll do. I'll just dip the piece on. Just adding just a couple of little flakes of
Frit on here too. That's one issue is when you get your tweezers wet with the clear fire, the Frit wants to stick to them. Okay, so I'll let that dry while we do this other one. All right, now we go back to this. So I've centered that disc on here. All right. I just put a new can of gas on here, so hopefully it won't turn into a flamethrower. I'm going to go underneath. Oh, the other thing is when you buy a tripod, make sure that you get the taller one. I think it's 9 inches. That way you can get your heat underneath it, your torch, I mean. And I don't melt them in totally because I kind of like the texture of a little bit chunky, but that's totally up to you. But you see how simple that was? And it took less time because the slices of Murrini were thinner to begin with. So let's see. That one really turned out pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to knock it off and let it cool off. And then I'm going to move on to another one that I had prepared previously. I'm going to use another one of these that's cool. Oh, I didn't put my chalk marks on here. As soon as I'm done with the demo, I will post the resources for you. Okay. Okay, here we go. I hope you guys can see this okay. if I had a larger piece on here, I would circulate the flame under a little bit. But this one pretty much covers it in the center. The nice thing, one of the nice things about enamel is if you have an area that you didn't melt as well, you can always reheat it again, retorch it. The only thing is you want to go in slow with the heat and warm up the piece a little bit before you give it, a lot of flame. So that one. And I'll do one more, and then we'll wrap it up. This one's a little bit larger. This one is a heart that I put together last night. Now, when you take these off and they are cool, they're still going to have a little bit of enamel stuck on the outside edges from the contact of the tripod. And that you can file off. And also when I file the edges, like when I do the wet sanding, before they're finally done, that can take off some of those little bits, that are stuck on there. All right. If you put your flame on the piece, if it's not completely dry, that clear fire will bubble and kind of pop off some of the bits. So you want to make sure your piece is really dry before you uh, put the flame to it. Okay. All right, now it'll change color as it cools. It's very dark right now. It will change color short. I'll show you that in a few minutes. The other ones, the other two that I did are cool. All right. And oh, we've got this little guy yet to do. This is the one with the vitrico floral wafers. I don't know if they're dry yet or not, but we'll take a chance. Actually, yeah. Here. Okay. We'll do this one and then we're done. Those are done quick because they're so small. Just keep in mind that everything, all your equipment is hot now. So we want to get it cooled off. Okay. All right. Hello again. Okay. All right. So, hi, Mary. Please list the handheld torch with propane you like. Okay. Yeah, I'll have that on the post, which I already typed up earlier, so I should have it on the website or on the group page not too long from now. So I hope you try it. It's fun. It's the counter enamel will be pretty toasty. This is the front of the two that we just did, and this is the reverse. It'll be kind of a brownish, kind of a coppery brownish color, but enameled nonetheless. And I think they really came out cute. I don't know if you can see them as well as I can see them, but they look nice. And then the heart is still cooling off. Now the vitrico floral wafers are pretty much flat. You know, they're melted in. You could probably stop it, the melting process a little bit sooner if you wanted to have them have some texture, but I kind of like the way they look just melted in like this. So yeah, Sandy, it's very addicting. I started the torch fired enamel stuff probably around 2013, 2012 or 2013. My friends and I took a class up at Feed and Button with Barbara Lewis, and we were hooked immediately. We were like enameling all the time and cutting shapes and doing, oh, this is so pretty. cutting shapes and just really having a good time with it. So yeah, it's very addicting. And once you've got the supplies, I mean, the enamel lasts goes a long way. The only thing is if you're going to be making lots of stuff, it's going to be, you're going to need to put things in the canisters, and that takes up more enamel. So, you know, it's whatever you like, and if you can afford to do it, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And you can do pennies too. Um, I did a demo on pennies a few years ago, I think it was. Pennies have to be minted before 1982. They have the highest copper content. The new pennies that they have out now just burn up. I don't know what they're made out of, but crap, I guess. But you know, if you're going to do pennies, um, you know, that's another fun thing to do. So, all right, here is the heart. Still a little bit warm. Could have used a little bit more red or pink or something, but I don't know. I think it looks okay. So they cool off quite uh, fast if you put them on that steel bench block. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I haven't mentioned that would be helpful to you. I think I've covered everything, but if you have questions, you can always ask. I don't know all the answers to everything, but what I do know, I don't mind sharing with you at all. So there's that. Um, and Jean Van Bretterode, she's one of our group members. She owns the Enamel Warehouse on Etsy. It's a very full product lined shop, I guess you want to say. She's got all the stuff that you would need for enameling. I do have, yeah, Patty, they are toxic. You don't want to heat them, but uh, ones 1982 and before are fine. Anyway, Jean has the Enamel Warehouse on Etsy. She has graciously offered us 10% discount uh, for all our group members up until December 31st. And the code number is SNW, my initials, 10, SNW 10. And I will put that also in the notes. Yeah, she is great. She's a lot of fun too. Okay, so you can check on her website or her Etsy shop to purchase these things if you want. I know she's got the wafers and the Millefiori buttons, plus a whole line of enamels. Excuse me, I gotta get a drink here. Okay, I think I've covered it. I'm looking at my notes. I think I've covered everything. But like I said, if you have questions, let me know. I do not have a handout, but I have plenty of information on the post that I will be putting up in just a few minutes. Also, you can see all the demos that I've done since 2020 on my YouTube channel. So if there's something that interests you, all the demos are listed by name, so our project, so you can find them a lot easier. Facebook has limited our video watching. I think the videos are only up for 30 days and then they take them down. So it's no longer a reliable place to find past demos. So thankfully, YouTube is there to pick up the slack. All right. Well, Sandy, on filing, you could probably just use an emery board, but it'll take a lot more elbow grease to get those off, to get those little edges off, but you can do that. If you have a flex shaft motor with a coarse rubber wheel, you can get those off that way. Or if you have a sander, a wet sander, like I have, it's a drum that has water flow and you can, and a belt, and you can just sand them right off very quickly. That's the other way that you can do them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a little bit longer demo than I normally do, but it's fine because there was a lot of information. Um, hello, Deborah, by the way. Yeah, wet sander it's the way to go if you have that accessible. So, all right, I can't think of anything else uh, to mention, but I'll go ahead and put all that stuff up. Thank you, Diane. You guys all have a great Thanksgiving. I hope you just eat all the turkey and stuffing and pumpkin pie and all that great stuff. Um, I'm cooking this year again. This will be like, I don't know, 45 years that I've made Thanksgiving dinner. But I'm trying to streamline it as best I can, make things easier. Uh, but anyway, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the group in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching. I always enjoy when you guys are here with me. Makes it more fun for me. Take care.